Here comes Success Coach Andy, the most beneficial advice program on the radio. For the next hour, you'll learn about success and happiness and how to take control of your life. And now, here's Success Coach Andy Shepherd.
This is Success Coach Andy. I'm Andy Shepherd of Shepherd Success Coaching, here with you every Monday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. For many people, there are areas in their life that are dreadful, dire, or just not going in the direction we want. This show changes all of that. This show is all about transforming your life into the one you always wanted and shrugging away what you don't want. Be sure to listen in every week and tell your friends about it. The other day, someone said to me, Andy, you're the Sherlock Holmes of solving problems that other solutions cannot solve, that are unsolvable, and that leave people stranded in the dark. Quite an accolade. I was quite pleased about this. I thought it was great. And, it is true. I have helped countless people with their unsolved type of personal problems. I've succeeded where others have failed. Once on the trail, there's no stopping me. Later in tonight's show, I will give you details on how you can get your free session so that I can track down your Moriarty of a problem for a free 30-minute session. So I'll give you more on that later. I just want to talk about something that I'm sure you're all aware of that happened today. I'm basically extremely saddened by the news of Robin Williams passing away due to a suspected suicide. I'm just contemplating, how can a man who brought so much laughter be so sad as to do this? I've got no idea what was going on in his mind, but I'm just contemplating that, for me, you got to be pretty sad about something to commit suicide. I remember a favorite comedian from England, his name's Spike Milligan, going through some really black patches too. And after the suicide of Amy Winehouse, I have a huge desire to be able to save someone famous. I've seen Tony Robbins successfully work on suicide many times. To me, suicide is like an off button. I don't think that people really want to die. They just want whatever they are experiencing to stop and perhaps go away. However, there is always a better way. We need to focus on other things and start to live our life the way we want it. And sometimes that may mean modifying a few things and having a more realistic point of view. Basically, this is a pretty huge subject, so I'm just giving you something fairly in a nutshell here. And I perhaps will go one of my shows, I'll just talk about suicide. Basically, things are always going to get better. Life is cyclic. We have our ups and we have our downs. We must truly enjoy the ups and record them well to fuel us for when we're down. When we are down, we need to know that this too is transient and that we have to go back up again. There is no other possibility. When I lived in Brazil, a friend of mine told me of an ex-girlfriend calling him, and out of the blue, basically, and said that she wanted him to go with her to the beach and spend the weekend with her and her friends. He, of course, said yes. He said that he recorded every second of the 2 days in his mind. He knew that it was just going to be for 2 days and then it would be gone and she'd be an ex again. So he recorded every sound, every hug, every kiss, the beautiful beaches, the ocean, the sun beating down on him, the crystal clear water, the beautiful exotic woman that he was with, the laughter, everything. It was better than any 4D cinema, he said. He decided to rejoice in every second and live it as if live it to its full. He knew it would eventually be gone, and so would she. He had one of the best weekends of his life. When he looked back, he felt joy and happiness as if it were occurring right at the second that he was thinking of it. You too can do that. It is all about framing your thoughts and focusing on the good of what could be good about it. Moments like this make the bad ones go away. When we focus on the fact that good times and great moments can one day come back. I remember one heartbreak when I separated from a woman that I truly loved, and there was no possibility of us getting back together again. I lost all my friends at the same time, and the pain seemed pretty unbearable, as you could understand and imagine. However, a still voice in me told me that the pain one day would go away. I felt this excruciating pain every morning for a whole 2 years, and one day I did. I had focused, I let go of it. I'd focused every day on being, her being the only love of my life, my soulmate, the only one for me. I had made her irreplaceable. This mindset could only lead to misery, and it did. I finally realized that there could be more than one soulmate, and everything changed. Needless to say, my current mindset would never let this happen to me. I would just never think anything like that. It's all about we need to change our focus and look at things differently. So basically, if you're ever contemplating suicide, I hope that you never do, please contact me on 310-774-6691. That's 310-774-6691. Or email me at andy@successcoachandy.com. That's andy@successcoachandy.com. Tonight's topic is from enemy to lifelong friend. It's up to you. If you've just tuned in, you're listening to Success Coach Andy. I'm Andy Shepherd on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. People call me the Sherlock Holmes of success coaching. Let me hot on the trail of your Moriarty of all problems, past or present, and free yourself from its troublesome hold forever. It will amaze you on how much I can track down in a free 30-minute session. That's right, especially for listeners on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. I'm giving away a 30-minute session for free. Call me on 310-774-6691 or email me on andy@successcoachandy.com and book your free investigation today. So let's look at the first part of this evening's topic, from enemy to lifelong friend. It's up to you. Each and every one of us has to deal with someone that rubs us up the wrong way. Or, maybe we just can't get on with that person. It's just not possible to have a healthy relationship, harmonious relationship with that person. So what can we do about it? Well, the normal thing that we do is that the people that we can be conflicted with are our significant other. Maybe there are children, especially teens, parents, relatives, co-workers, bosses, classmates. The list goes on. In tonight's show, I'm going to explain why we feel the way we do and give tools of how to survive, and tools that, if you incorporate them into your daily life, will give you the ability to nurture the relationships you need to resurrect difficult relationships and transform them into good ones, perhaps delete toxic, bad relationships if that needs to be done, and I'll give you a step-by-step process of doing that. That's going to be basically beneficial to both parties, and nurture the good and potentially increase the circles of influence and friendship. So basically imagine how your life would be if you could get on with people who, if you could get on with anybody. How would that be? Imagine how your life would be if you're not affected by people that are making you feel bad. What would that mean to you? You need to look at that. Just to contemplate on the benefits of getting on with anybody. And I'd like you to really deeply contemplate that, of what would it mean if you could really make that happen, and to, get on with people that you couldn't. How would your life change? How would your work be easier to get on with? I'm Andy Shepherd of Shepherd Success Coaching. When we return, I'll look at how we treat people we don't like, and how and why that really isn't such a good idea. You're tuned in to Success Coach Andy on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX.
Here's what Sandy Barrett, a realtor here in the Valley of the Sun for 32 years, had to say about Jack the Roofer.
You know what? He is the only call I make when I have a roof issue. I've been a realtor for 32 years. He is on time. He is clean. He is precise. He's always prepared. I've known him about 20 years. He's the best. Never met anybody that's more on their game and more willing to be of service. Because, anybody can get anything done anywhere. But when somebody's willing to go the extra mile, and I've seen him do it time and again, he's just the best. I love him as a human being and as a roofer. He's just great. If somebody else tells you need this, that, and the other thing, and he can do it a different way and have it be more economical, he will for you.
Get your roof fixed right the first time and get it fixed before monsoon season. Call Jack the Roofer, 602-996-7443. That's 602-996-7443. Are you experiencing frustration or desperation and you don't know the way out? There is a solution. There is light beyond the tunnel. Start to live life on your terms, the way you've always wanted. Visit SuccessCoachAndy.com. SuccessCoachAndy.com. Change can happen in an instant. To learn more about Andy's seminars or for opportunities to have him as your personal coach, call 310-774-6691. That's 310-774-6691.
Are you a motorsports fan? A gearhead? Join me, National Award-winning radio and television host Kurt Hansen, every Saturday right here at 2 p.m. for the greatest names in motorsports, from the Valley of the Sun to Formula One. It's Race Central, Saturdays at 2 p.m. See you there!
Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Join me every Sunday morning, 7 to 9 for Shake, Rattle, and Troll, Arizona's only exclusive fishing show. A look at local, regional, national tournaments, recreational fishing, freshwater, saltwater, and beyond. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Chrysler Jeep and Dodge, Sunday morning, 7 to 9, right here on KFNX 1100.
NARPro.com, take 5.
If you're looking for a great mechanic, go to NARPro.com. Why? Because you'll get a shop dedicated to doing expert work at reasonable prices backed by strong warranties. NARPro.com, your link to great, honest auto repair.
Hi, Rick and Dave here.
The Elton Brothers on KFNX.
Have you ever pulled in front of a listing, can't get a hold of anyone, and just wanted more info and photos?
That's so annoying.
Well, we have an app for you.
Simply text Elton to 32323.
It's completely free and downloads right to your mobile device.
So any real estate sign across the valley.
Text Elton to 32323 and get all the MLS info right to your phone.
Immediately.
The Elton Brothers, Realty One Group, putting real estate in the palm of your hand.
Stay up late. Alex Jones, After Dark. Nights, 1 to 3 a.m. On Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. The home of the Alex Jones Show.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid.
Welcome back to Success Coach Andy. I'm Andy Shepherd of Shepherd Success Coaching, here with you every Monday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Tonight I'm talking about from enemy to lifelong friend. It's up to you. So let's look at how we treat people we don't like and how and why that isn't really such a big thing. So there are some people that we just don't like. You know, isn't it? I mean, it's just like hate at first sight. You know, we've got love at first sight. In some cases, it's just hate at first sight. It's just one of those things. And we really don't know what's going on. I think what's probably happening is that person is reminding you of somebody who is terrible to you, horrible to you, or whatever it is. And we just can't let go of it. So what do we usually do when we've got a person that we don't like? Well, we tell stories behind their back, don't we? Why do we do that? Well, basically, it feels good, doesn't it? But, you know, is it such a good thing? Basically, you know, if you're telling stories behind somebody's back and so on, a lot of these stories are probably lies. So you're effectively telling lies and mistruths about that person. And, you know, the one thing to think about is, do you really want to spend all of your time talking about somebody you don't like just to feel good? Isn't that kind of like a waste of time and energy? I mean, I prefer to talk about things that are going to be beneficial to me, beneficial to my business in my case. And I just don't have time for this kind of thing. And maybe you should make it a rule to yourself, just that one simple thing of like, you know, if I don't like this person, what's the point of spending my energy about it? It's just a fact. I don't like it, that person, that's it. But imagine if that person finds out. What are they going to think? You know, it's not going to make your relationship any better. And what about other people that you're talking to? I mean, what are they going to start thinking of you? What is that going to say about your character? It's really not going to hold you in a good light at all. So, you know, what else? I mean, we go around and alienate them. Well, I mean, that's really not nice. And as a consequence, we're going to be the victim of alienation as well. So we're going to be impatient with them. So are they going to be impatient back again? Of course. We're not going to listen to them. So what's going to be the downside of that? Well, they're not going to listen to you maybe, and basically you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be a lot of time wasting because you're not listening to each other properly. And it could be a dangerous or potentially catastrophic situation if you're in a work environment. Possibly you're not going to help that person, no way, no how, and they're going to reciprocate by not helping you. I mean, you could say, well, I don't want their help. No way. I'd rather that health froze over. Fine. But, you know, one thing that I've learned is that many hands make light work. So, you know, I'm about taking help wherever I can get it. And if you're going to continue hating and, you know, that person complaining about them, putting everything under the microscope of what they do, you know, minutely analyzing all of their defects. I mean, if you look at anything intensely enough, you can find it a defect in any person, any situation. And what is that going to do for you? Well, basically, it's going to lead to more stress, and more stress is going to lead to illness. And, you know, that illness could eventually, if you're becoming more and more stressed, become pretty serious. You could talk about heart attack. You could talk about cancer. Now, sorry to be negative here. I'm just giving you some great reasons why you shouldn't do this. And the other thing is that we talk about, you know, I believe in law of attraction. Basically, if you're sending stuff out, you're going to get it back again. So it's not just about dreaming of having a nice car and having a nice home to live in or money or whatever. If you're sending bad stuff out, you're going to be attracting it. It's the same law, but it's working in a negative sense. And we certainly don't want that, do we? If you've just tuned in, you're listening to Success Coach Andy. I'm Andy Shepherd on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. People call me the Sherlock Holmes of success coaching. Set me hot on the trail of your Moriarty of all problems, past or present, and free yourself from its troublesome hold forever. It will amaze you on how much I can track down in a free 30-minute session. That's right, especially for listeners on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. I'm giving away a 30-minute session for free. Call me on 310-774-6691. That's 310-774-6691. Or email me on andy@successcoachandy.com. That's andy@successcoachandy.com. And book your free investigation today. So let's continue talking about from enemy to lifelong friend. It's up to you. So before I go on any further, some of you may feel as if this is the way the world is and there's nothing you can do to change it. The other person is not going to get on with us and that's it. You know, what if there is more than one person who likes us? You know, how can we make a difference? You know, we've got this situation, it can't be changed. Well, I'm not so sure about that. I believe that we can change. Just by making a change in ourselves can have a big impact on other people. And basically, I've proven that. When I worked for a company in the UK called AstraZeneca, there were a team of guys there who I just could not get on with. And I get on with pretty much everybody. At the time, I was doing a lot of Buddhist meditation. I was, meditating for probably like 3 or 4 hours every day. And one of the meditations that I did was called Taking and Giving. So what you did was you just took on the problems of other people and you gave love and healing in return. And so the best thing I found that I could do was I said, okay, well, let's try this with people who are my enemies, because that's going to generate something pretty neat inside me. If I can love my enemies, that's got to be pretty good. So I tried this out. I thought, okay, great. I'm going to try it out on this team of people who don't like me. And it changed from one day to the other. The next day, they were nice to me. But not only that, it was like several days while I was continuing. The meditation had such a profound effect. So what has been going on here? Maybe it's because I'm sending something out to them, or maybe it's body language. I believe definitely I believe that there's an energy change. There is something going on here. Our subconscious mind, we say, has got all sorts of hidden stuff going on. Well, maybe there's kind of like an energy connection between the two of us. Who knows? One thing that Tony Robbins said, which really had a profound effect, was that he said, if you had the same upbringing, lived in the same circumstances, had the same experiences, the same parents, brothers, sisters, and the same friends, the same schooling and teachers, the same religious experiences, the same jobs, co-workers and bosses, then maybe, just maybe, you'd be the same as the other person. And this one thing completely changed everything for me. So I'd like you to think about that, because I talked about in my last show about conditioning. So if we're all subject to conditioning, then everything around us is making us who we are. So it's not that person's fault. So think about that. I'm Andy Shepherd of Shepherd Success Coaching. When we return, I'll tell you more ways to get that you can turn things around. You're tuned into Success Coach Andy on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Greg Moore. The United States sending weapons to the Kurds fighting the ISIS terrorists in Iraq. The Blaze Radio's Kay Long reports.
State Department spokesperson Marie Harf.
We are working with the government of Iraq to accelerate deliveries of badly needed arms to Kurdish forces in the north.
Harf also talking about the man chosen to replace Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki.
We've said that in order for Iraq to better confront ISIL going forward, they need an inclusive government in place as soon as possible. What you saw today was just another step in that process.
Al-Maliki not going without a fight, his elite forces taking to the streets to protest the move.
U.S. airstrikes in Iraq are being called too little, too late. The Blaze Radio's Brad James reports.
Over the past few days, American forces have successfully conducted targeted airstrikes to prevent terrorist forces from advancing on the city of Erbil.
The U.S. military conducting at least 15 airstrikes over northern Iraq designed to disrupt ISIS terrorists. Pentagon Operations Chief General Bill Mayville.
These strikes are unlikely to affect ISIL's overall capabilities or its operations in other areas of Iraq and Syria.
And as a result, many are saying the United States ought to broaden its airstrike campaign over Iraq.
We need to be hitting at least 200 targets a day, and it must be a very offensive air campaign, and it's an easy air campaign for U.S. forces.
Speaking on Fox News, that's retired Lieutenant General Tom McInerney.
Police search for a killer after an Orthodox rabbi is gunned down while walking to synagogue on the Sabbath. The Blaze Radio's John DeMaster with that story.
Police in Miami, Florida, searching for the killer or killers, believing it's a botched robbery attack. Although there's been anti-Semitic graffiti found in the area in recent weeks, including a swastika spray painted on a synagogue.
The Blaze Radio's John DeMaster reporting. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
This station is the new home of the Blaze Radio News. Stories that other news outlets won't touch.
This is news
every hour. News
from the Blaze Radio Network.
The Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
Hey everyone, it's Edward Woodson, inviting you to tune in to the Edward Woodson Show. With me, your host, Edward Woodson. We'll talk business, politics, and the things that really make you mad.
Catch the Edward Woodson Show. Weekdays from 5 to 6 a.m. Only on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
I'm Edward Woodson, and I'm so mad!
Would you like to come on my radio show and talk about what you do? I'm Carol Blonder, the host of Networking Arizona. I created a show where you can get yourself heard by thousands of listeners. You also get a podcast of the show so you can put it on your website. Heard Tuesdays and Fridays from 3 to 5 p.m. It's a drive time, prime time show. Call me and book your spot at 602-228-4629. Get the word out about what you do. Visit my website, networkingarizona.net.
Your financial plan with Wayne Candace every Tuesday at noon. Wayne Candace is best known as the Bugle Boy who serenades his audience and provides informative strategies for retirement and financial goal planning. Your financial plan every Tuesday at noon.
Get a toolbox full of automotive know-how every Monday at 3 p.m. Host Fred Ewells, owner of Tech One Auto Repair, along with expert auto mechanics from across the valley, have the answers to all of your automotive questions. Automotive know-how, Monday at 3 p.m.
Learn how to trade stocks like the pros with Ken Beckrich, host of The Right Side of the Trade, every Thursday at 4 p.m. No gimmicks or fancy software, just sound principles of market timing. The Right Side of the Trade, Thursday at 4 p.m.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Join me live to get your questions answered and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family. Our product line, Quantum Nutrition Labs, delivers what others only promise, nutrition that really works. This month, Quantum Digest is on special. The Lexus of digestants. It works in the broadest range of pH. It's the most purified USP plant enzymes. No matter what you eat, it has the power to support its digestion. Studies suggest it can preserve your digestive power throughout your life. It's like an insurance policy for a good quality of life. Buy 2 bottles, get the third one free. Call 800-370-3447. That's 800-370-3447. Feel the difference Quantum Digest can make. No one should eat cooked food without it.
Welcome back to Success Coach Andy. I'm Andy Shepherd of Shepherd Success Coaching, here with you every Monday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. Tonight I'm talking about from enemy to lifelong friend. It's up to you. Before the break, I talked about how everything around us can condition us, and that as far as I'm concerned, this is why people react the way that they do. As a consequence, any anger would be directed at the conditioning of the person rather than them. So if we're kind of getting angry at the person, then really what I'm trying to say is that we should really be angry at the conditioning. Well, it's just a fact. It's just something that's happened. You know, if we're angry with their conditioning, how is that going to help? It's just not going to do anything. So all that I'm talking about in these shows is to hopefully just have a change of the way that we perceive things. That's what it's all about, a change of consciousness, a change of the way that we see and contemplate the world around us really does have massive effects. That, as a coach, is something that I've proven time and time again. However, the people who are being obnoxious, horrible, angry all the time, I'm not saying that they shouldn't take responsibility for their own stuff and work on it. Sure, of course they should, but it's not going to help you to, if you're going around thinking about that all the time. You know, you've got to think about, well, we've got to look at the things that we can work on, not on what about other people, because if we're trying to change other people, we're going to end up in big trouble. We need to spend our time working on ourselves. One thing that I found when I've been, I'm a bit of a traveler. Obviously, I come from the UK. That's why I've got this different accent, shall we say. I've come from a city in the middle of England, and I spent 14 years in Brazil. Basically, one thing that I learned was that the culture is a big difference, and there are certain things in Brazilian culture that when I first got there seemed to be pretty shocking to me. And interestingly, when I then went back to the UK and having got used to Brazilian culture, then British way of doing things was shocking. A very simple example of maybe not so shocking, but just something that kind of jarred, was in Brazil I'm used to going around and you hug each other when you greet them. So, with a guy, you probably shake hands with him. With a girl, you give her a quick embrace and maybe do an air kiss on the cheek or something like this. If he's a good friend, you're going to hug the guy. That's just normal. That's part of the culture. And in the UK, there's no way you do that. Though I do believe things are changing and we're kind of getting a bit more, in inverted commas, friendly. So, I'd like to think about the quote that I gave before the break, because that was a big changer, a life changer for me. So if we contemplate the person that we just cannot get on with what they're doing, then we need to look at their conditioning. So if you had the same upbringing, lived in the same circumstances, had the same experiences, the same parents, the same brothers and sisters, the same friends, the same schooling and teachers, the same religious experiences, and the same jobs, co-workers and bosses, maybe, just maybe, you'd be the same as that person. And, go back to what your mother taught you. Put yourself in their shoes. I mean, what is that person experiencing? What is their life like? What is going on? People don't cause a fuss and are angry just for the heck of it. Well, I know some people do. I know one person who should know better. I won't mention this woman's name, but I realized that she got angry with me once just because she wanted everybody to pay attention to her, and I wasn't giving her the chance to do that, so she got angry. That is one thing. But, look at what is happening with that person's life. Maybe they've got a reason why they're doing it. So it gives you the chance of, getting to understand them better. If you've just tuned in, you're listening to Success Coach Andy. I'm Andy Shepherd on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. People call me the Sherlock Holmes of success coaching. Set me hot on the trail of your Moriarty of all problems, past or present, and free yourself from its troublesome hold forever. It will amaze you on how much I can track down in a free 30-minute session. That's right, especially for listeners on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. I'm giving away a 30-minute session for free. Call me on 310-774-6691. That's 310-774-6691. Or email me on andy@successcoachandy.com. That's andy@successcoachandy.com. And book your free investigation today. So, if we consider that the person we hate or dislike is conditioned, and an example of this would be from Pavlov and his dogs. I'm not sure if everybody is aware of this, so if you bear with me, I'll just repeat it just in case. What Pavlov did was he had dogs which were basically starving, and he put food in front of them. So, of course, the dogs start salivating. So he'd measure the saliva. He then continued doing this just to get a test sample, to get the test results. So he kept showing the meat to them. They kept salivating. He then rang the bell at the same time that he showed the meat to them. So measured the saliva, same amount of saliva. He continued doing this to the point where he could just ring the bell and he created a conditioned response because the dogs would salivate to the same degree. Now, this conditioning is happening all of the time. He concluded that animals are conditioned and humans are as well. An example of this would be, a conditioned response would be music. It's either going to make you happy or sad. And it's not dependent on whether the music's good or not. Maybe you've got a singer that you don't like and that's going to make you sad, of course. But there's music which is like, say, our song with a person that you love, and when you hear it, it makes you feel good. But, if you separated from that person, you're not with that person anymore, or, something like this, then basically that music is going to make you feel sad, isn't it? So this is like a conditioned response, if you like. So what we need to do, like I say, is to put ourselves in the shoes of the person that is being angry. And we need to also look at it. To me, when somebody's being nasty or obnoxious, it's like an alarm bell going off. I mean, like I said last week, if you had a smoke detector going off, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, go and smash it to pieces with a sledgehammer. But what's the point of that? Because it's making all this horrible noise. What you do is you call the fire services, and you're grateful for it making this noise because it's warning you something's going on. So when somebody is being angry, obnoxious, I see it as an alarm bell and think, well, is there anything that I can do to help this person? So, and the thing to contemplate is, have you ever seen anybody who's truly happy or being nasty or angry or vindictive? You haven't. Happy people are smiling and being happy. So that's just the way it is. So, and there's another thing that could possibly help you as well. Contemplate something that Tony Robbins talked about. He said that basically, if there's something that you don't like, you can think this is yours, you can keep it. So that's definitely something that can help you out of here. And that's something that you can do with anything, basically. Decide on things that you want and decide on things that you don't want. We don't have to accept anything. The other person may subconsciously, another possibility is the other person subconsciously wants you to feel bad. Well, why are they doing that? The reason is because they want you to understand how they're feeling. And, they make you feel bad because of this. I know that I've had some girlfriends who would do this to me, and I could never understand it. They would, remember something that I'd done 5 years in the past. Well, why did they do that? Basically, it's because they are wanting me to feel that emotion. It's not about the event. It's got nothing to do with it. What they want to do is for me to feel so that I can understand them. And they're not doing it because they want me to feel upset or anything. And this is the same with angry people. I think there's occasions when they're so upset, they, want you to feel the same. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope so. I'm Andy Shepherd of Shepherd Success Coaching. When we return, I'm going to talk about what to do if all else fails, and also give away a free 30-minute Sherlock Holmes track down of your Moriarty of a problem. You're tuned in to Success Coach Andy on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX.
America is truly exceptional, and she deserves to be defended in the face of a rogue and runaway government. As respecters of freedom, we must commit to raising the banner of freedom for all to see. Hi, this is Shane Krauser, the director of the American Academy for Constitutional Education. Inspire your group and give them the tools and education to move this message forward. Schedule us to speak at your next event by visiting us at aafce.com. America's best days are yet to come. That's aafce.com.
Are you experiencing frustration or desperation and you don't know the way out? There is a solution. There is light beyond the tunnel. Start to live life on your terms, the way you've always wanted. Visit SuccessCoachAndy.com. SuccessCoachAndy.com. Change can happen in an instant. To learn more about Andy's seminars or for opportunities to have him as your personal coach, call 310-774-6691. That's 310-774-6691.
You see, this is a radio talk show. This is not the news. If you want the news, I don't even know where to tell you to go because there is no news. CNN is not the news. MSNBC is not the news. NBC, ABC, CBS, they all are biased. The only difference between Michael Savage and them is I tell you what I think. I don't try to make believe I'm neutral. I am not neutral. I am not neutral. I am not neutral.
The Savage Nation. Independent Talk. 1100 KFNX. What will you do when your stored supplies run out? Are you prepared? Hostile Hair provides equipment and education you need to control your own infinite food supply. We have live food storage systems for rabbits, quail, and other urban livestock for any situation and strategy. Don't be limited by what's on the shelves. Get started with an infinite food source today. Get prepped, stay fed with Hostile Hair. Call 480-331-3761, 480-331-3761, or visit hostlehair.com.
Not sure who to support in the race for governor? Only one candidate has earned endorsements from leading conservatives across Arizona and the country. Doug Ducey. Now, Doug is endorsed by Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Maricopa County. Sheriff Joe.
A lot of people have asked me who I'm supporting for governor. Well, this year, Arizonans have a clear choice, and it's Doug Ducey. Doug is the son of a police officer and a man of integrity, and he has the experience Arizona needs right now. I trust Doug to fight to secure the border and to keep our families safe. I hope you'll join me and vote for Doug Ducey for governor.
Doug Ducey is the only candidate with a realistic plan to secure the border and protect our citizens. Guardsmen, fencing, more police and prosecutors. If the Obama administration won't get the job done, Arizonans will. Paid for by Ducey 2014. DougDucey.com.
It's my
Welcome back to Success Coach Andy. I'm Andy Shepherd of Shepherd Success Coaching, here with you every Monday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Tonight I'm talking about from enemy to lifelong friend. It's up to you. So let's continue to look at practical ways that we can deal with not getting on with somebody. So how about contemplating things like anger and nastiness and vindictiveness, each of these as if they were a disease, a dis-ease. There are dis-eases in people who are not at ease. And if you see it as kind of like inverted commas an illness, then, I mean, if you were to go into a hospital, would you start getting upset and start shouting at the people who are ill? That would be crazy, wouldn't it? So maybe if we could just have that kind of shift of consciousness and realize that, you know, this person is suffering and they may well have a good reason for it. Like I said, it's like an alarm going off. And if you've got a smoke alarm going off, it's telling you something. It says there's a fire going, call the fire service. You're not going to go there and start smashing the things to pieces, even though we definitely feel like doing that at some times. So, you know, if it's really too much to get on with the person who's really, really toxic, then, you know, maybe we need to consider stop being with that person. You know, some people refer to that as deletion, which is quite a strong term. It means to just not be with that person anymore. So as we are the average of 5 people that we spend our time with, we need to sometimes weed out certain people because the people around us do have an effect. And I know that a lot of people that I come across say, no, I'm strong-willed and that's not going to happen to me, but there's a lot of subconscious stuff that goes on. People can, in inverted commas, almost like get under your skin and they're making a difference with us and we don't realize it. So let's just look at one aspect. Imagine that you have got a relative that is really difficult to get on with, and I'm sure there's lots of people who've got situations like that. So, you know, perhaps you do some practical stuff like just go to less family functions and not be with that person, or minimize interaction by keeping in the kitchen and keeping away with them, or maybe you can talk to them and kind of like just come out with it and say, look, we just don't get on. But, you know, for our grandmother's sake or our mother's sake, we both love that person, don't we? So let's get along just for them. You know, if none of that's possible, then we need to put it to that person that, you know, not getting upset is something, like I say, which is beneficial to our mother and grandmother. We need to think to ourselves, okay, I can't communicate with this person. I need to not get upset for this loved person. And also, you know, maybe if we have to let go of people, referring to my show from last week would help. So feel free to contact me if you've missed it, and I'll share with you how you can get a recording of that. If you've just tuned in, you're listening to Success Coach Andy. I'm Andy Shepherd on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. People call me the Sherlock Holmes of success coaching. Set me hot on the trail of your Moriarty of all problems, past or present, and free yourself from its troublesome hold forever. It will amaze you on how much I can track down in a free 30-minute session. That's right, especially for listeners on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. I'm giving away a 30-minute session for free. Call me on 310-774-6691. That's 310-774-6691. Or email me on andy@successcoachandy.com. That's andy@successcoachandy.com, and book your free investigation today. So what I'd like to do is to just tell you a little about these Sherlock Holmes of success coaching, what this means, what do I do as this, how am I going to help you in a 30-minute consultation. Well, before I talk about that, I'd just like to state that there are 3 possibilities at the moment of what you are thinking about me. One is that you're thinking, I've listened to you, Andy, you've got lots of things that I can see are very wise, and I can see you really know your stuff, and you're a great coach, I can see that. So I'm just going to get ahead and I'm going to call you, I've got the number, and I'm sure that whatever price you're going to charge is going to be reasonable for the service that you provide. So let's just get on and do it. The second possibility is that you are interested, you think, great, yeah, I want to coach with Andy, but you've just got a couple of questions you want to ask me. So go ahead and call me, and we can perhaps set up a time where you can either do a free coaching session, like I said, and we can kind of do a discovery session of finding out what the real issues are for you and exactly what I can do to transform them. Finally, maybe the third possibility is, unfortunately, that you just don't get on with me and you don't like what I'm saying, and you're probably not listening to me. And, that's a bit of a shame because I know that I could help you, but, well, what can I do? It's your decision. And like I say, you're probably not listening anyway. So let me tell you about how I work. Well, the first thing is that I do work on removing your blockages. We all have things that are holding us back. So I help you to find out what that is and to help you to move forward. And also we work at, the one most important thing in your life is to really find out what you want in your life and to work out a way of achieving it. So some people call this goal setting and accountability. So these are things that are really, really important, and these are things that I'm very, very good at. Another thing is that I'm excellent at getting you there very quickly. So I have processes which will accelerate you to your end result, to whatever you want, as quickly as possible. For some of you, if you're into law of attraction, that is an area that I can also work with. I'm an expert with that. Finally, like I say, I'm a Sherlock Holmes of, I've got this ability of working as a success coach at being able to find out exactly what your issue is. I did this with a lady. She's given me a testimonial, and within a half hour, I'd found something that she didn't even realize that she had. It's something that she'd been struggling with for years, and I'd found it within 30 minutes of knowing her, which was pretty good for her. That was awesome. And finally, I'm authentic. I'm not going to give you some wacky theory about how to go and do stuff. Everything that I'm talking about is, I've tried it out, and I know that it works. So I'm authentic in what I'm telling you, so you can have some reliability about that. So those are the different aspects. So please go ahead and give me a call, and we can start getting our session together. So tonight we've been talking about from enemy to lifelong friend. It's up to you. Tonight I showed you that with the power of the mind, you can create harmony with those who we see as our enemies. When people are angry, nasty, and obnoxious, this is an alarm showing that the person has things they need help with. If all else fails, we may have no option, and we may need to stop that friendship or at least distance ourselves, and I gave you some practical examples. People call me the Sherlock Holmes of success coaching. Set me hot on the trail of your Moriarty of all problems, past or present, and free yourself from its troublesome hold forever. It will amaze you at how quickly I can track down and how much I can track down in just a 30-minute session. That's right, especially for listeners on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. I'm giving away a 30-minute session for free. Call me on 310-774-6691. That's 310-774-6691. Or email me on andy@successcoachandy.com. That's andy@successcoachandy.com, and book your free investigation today. I want to thank Braden for keeping the show running smooth, and all of you for listening. I also want to dedicate this show to that dear Mork from Ork. I'm so upset that Robin Williams died today, and to all, prayers and love to his family. I'm Andy Shepherd of Shepherd Success Coaching. Tune in every Monday at 9 p.m. for more Success Coach Andy.